There's a number of different ways to do this. This just happens to be my way of doing it. So posts are already in. The rosette I already have attached to this short piece of rail. I just find it's easier to attach to the wall that way. And just double checking my measurements. I got the rail centered on this part of the post and made sure my railing was going to end up 36 inches off of the floor. And then I can work on getting a center mark for these spindles between the skinny part of this post and the wall. You don't want to go like between the rosette and say this molding or the fat part of the post, just because you'll end up with a goofy space on either side. So based on that, I got a center mark, center of the post line, and then center of the board from left to right. I made a little mark and started measuring out from there, roughly around 4 inches, and ended up with a weird space on the end. Wasn't the same. I like to keep them the same, so I measured out both sides, tried it that way, ended up with 4 1/16, 4 1/8, center to center ish, right around there, and ended up with pretty close to that, if not right on both sides. So that worked out good. Transferred that to the top rail, and then these spindles have these little shoe brackets that go on the top and bottom. And these spindles have a round part on the top, and it's square on the bottom, and then these little knuckle decorative pieces are adjustable with a little set screw. It's kind of nice. So I'll just end up cutting these from the bottom, and I put a piece of tape on there for two reasons. One, so I could see my mark, and the other is just to kind of protect that from getting scratched with whatever you're using to cut with. I'm using a Sawzall. Got a brand new metal blade on there. Happiness is a sharp blade, so hacksaw, Sawzall, chop box, whatever. New blades are the way to go. So 1/2 inch hole at the top for that round one, and the square bottom I'm going to have to cut 5/8, just so I'm not, beating them in that hole. I got a 5/8 bit for the bottom. It's going to be 3/4. Made a mark, put some tape on there. About 1 inch for the top. Made a mark, put some tape on that so I don't go too far or not far enough. And then after I got my holes, I'll nail this piece down. It's just sitting here right now. I didn't want to put any nails anywhere where I might, have to drill through it or something. So I'll get these existing moldings back on, and got everything ready to go. Got my holes drilled, got them vacuumed out, got my spindles cut, ready to go, shoe brackets on the top, and the bottom shoe bracket ready to go. And then I'll put a glob of construction adhesive in the hole, the top and bottom. I stick the bottoms in first, and then work the top in left to right, right to left. Excuse me. And just get them started, and then took a rubber hammer and a little block of wood and tapped it in there tight, and then tightened up those little shoe brackets in top and bottom, and adjusted those little knuckle decorative pieces to where the homeowner wanted them. And they're going to paint it later after they get their new carpet in, I guess. Bottom rail, same thing. Post is already in. Handrail, the rosettes attached to the rail, and the rail's just pretty much sitting there so I can get my marks on there. Center, found the center, and figured out, what worked best. It was roughly the same, around 4 inches or so, and then transferred my marks with a level to the top. And then there's actually a little groove in the top rail that marks the center for you. So after I got all my marks on there, and I cut a piece of scrap wood, the angle of the stairs, just as a guide for drilling. Keep it going the same way. And then got all my holes drilled, top and bottom. Got them vacuumed out. Spindles cut. You can tell those knuckles are going to need adjusted. They're pretty low on this one. These ones have the angled shoe brackets, which they only come with one angle. It's a 45-degree angle. I don't know why. I've never done a stair that was exactly 45 for whatever reason. So there's a remedy for that, though. There's a little bit of play in those. So glue in the hole and stuck the spindles in the bottom first, and then worked the top rail on top. From the bottom to the top is kind of how I worked it, and tapped it down there tight and got all my shoe brackets snugged up and the knuckles adjusted, and yeah, it looks pretty good and the homeowner's happy. So yeah, I hope that helps.